Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today, Gen X is thinking about preparation for the apocalypse. Now, today is September 25th, 2024, and we've got a big hurricane coming. I'm in Central Florida. I live in Central Florida, and we've got a big hurricane coming our way. Today is supposed to hit tomorrow, I think. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Living in Florida and having these hurricanes come through once in a while, it's just good sense to keep a certain level of preparedness. So we're allowed to be preppers, I say allowed to be, but by society it's accepted among each other. We're not looked at as kooks or wackos or tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists, because hurricanes do come, and so it's not looked down upon to be a bit of a prepper here in Florida. I think the hurricane's name is Helen. But I've been living here for many years, and I honestly don't pay too much attention to it. I mean, if it comes, it comes. I've had them come right over the top of me and knock the power out for several weeks. And in that situation, it's just like a vacation for me. I have fun, cooking on the fire and stuff and doing whatever, kind of rehearsing for the apocalypse, if you will. But a lot of people who aren't used to it, they get afraid and get worried. They're scared. I've lived without air conditioning during the summer. It sucks, but it's survivable. But honestly, part of me looks forward to it. Kind of curious, see what happens. Maybe the power go out for a few weeks and I get to, cook on the fire again or something and test my survival skills a little bit. And if you understand where I'm coming from there, where I can look forward to a hurricane, then you're my people. You're who I'm talking to. You understand. And that's what this is about. Us contacting each other and sharing these ideas here and in the comments. Let's talk about the apocalypse. And when I talk about the apocalypse, I understand the definition of that word. It's an unveiling, being shown something, a revelation. But in our popular culture, though, it has been equal to the biblical Armageddon. The end of the world, the end of civilization, the collapse of civilization. So when I talk about apocalypse, that's what I'm talking about. The popular culture version of it, the way we've always used it in popular culture, not necessarily the dictionary definition of it. So, having said that, there are so many different versions of the apocalypse, so many different ways that society could melt down and collapse. That is the necessary ingredient of an apocalypse, to me, the collapse of society. So when I see people talk about World War II and World War III and all this stuff, okay, those are wars, but society didn't collapse. Even the Great Depression, that was a hard thing, but society held together and made it through. World War II was difficult. World War I was difficult, but society held together and made it through. That's not apocalyptic to me. Now, everybody has their own views on it, I'm sure. I'm just telling y'all how I feel so you understand where I'm coming from when I use the term apocalypse or apocalyptic. The meltdown of society. The collapse of society, the collapse of currency, no more currency, barter system. Whether we go completely back to the Stone Age, that remains to be seen. How far back it regresses, nobody knows. But there's, in my opinion, in my view, there's got to be a societal collapse. Maybe not completely necessarily, but ideally it would be worldwide. I don't know about localized apocalypse, so I don't know. That can be debatable. If there was an apocalypse in one country, then another country could just move into it and say, hey, you're us now. but nobody's done that in Venezuela yet. So maybe Venezuela is in an apocalyptic situation right now. So preparing for the apocalypse. Since there are so many different ways that an apocalypse can occur, society can collapse because of illness. Just the population could be reduced within a short amount of time so far that they can't keep up the infrastructure. They can't keep the fire department and grocery stores open and all this stuff. There's just no way. So whoever's left just has to fend for themselves. That's one scenario. An asteroid, zombie virus, where it'd be the same as a disease or something, but instead of just dying, the people get back up and start chasing you around. There's so many different ways. By preparing, you do the best you can, but there's a rule or an old adage that says the best plans go to shit as soon as the first bullet flies. So you can have the best plans you want. You can be prepared as you want. None of that matters. I'm not going to say take that back. It matters and it will help, but it's not 100% guaranteed that everything's going to go the way you think it will. Because everything is going to be unexpected. Even if it happens, even if we all say, okay, an asteroid's going to hit, and an asteroid hits, but the repercussions from that asteroid hitting aren't going to be anything like we expect it to be. Period. Stuff is going to happen that we never imagined, we weren't prepared for. So you have to expect the unexpected. You have to be able to mobilize. You have to be, have enough mobile gear, so you can take some water and food with you. Because you don't know if you're going to be able to get water wherever you end up after you move. So there are so many things that go into it, and that's the key thing that I wanted to address today is expect the unexpected. Just like the billionaires in their bunkers. All right? That's great for them. Awesome. But there are so many different scenarios why society could melt down that could be the worst place to be in some of them. Being down in a bunker could be the absolute worst place to be. And if they aren't prepared to be mobile and face and deal with unexpected things, then they could very well be in trouble. What if they get down in their bunker and then some event, an asteroid hits or whatever, or a nuclear explosion, whatever, throws, I don't know, thousands of pounds of debris on top of their bunker and covers up blocks their exit. It'd be like, in 1,000 years, it'd be like discovering one of those Egyptian tombs. Those things could have been bunkers. You know what I mean? Probably, I don't know. So it's just hard to say. And it's hard to say whether it will level the playing field. We could have a collapse by design from the overlords, the powers that be, the people running the show. They could design a collapse and be prepared to deal with the coming events and have an army in the waiting. We don't know. So what happens then? No telling. But sometimes it looks like they are gonna collapse the economy, the monetary system, in order to implement this digital thing they want to do. So that seems like design. It's just taken a long time to chip away at the value of the dollar. But it's difficult to plan and prep for every single eventuality, every single thing that can happen. Just like, somebody could prep for a hurricane. I mean, you could have all the water and supplies you want, but if several huge trees fall on your house during a hurricane, that was completely unexpected. So you would have to take some of those supplies and mobilize and get out of that house. So dealing with things that are unexpected is going to be a big part of survival, of living in the aftermath of a cataclysmic event. is just dealing with the unexpected. So everybody's got to have an open mind about what can happen and how they're going to meet these unexpected events. As the basic necessities of survival always have to be met every single day. No matter what we run into, we've got to have food, got to have water, got to have air. These things are absolute necessities. So we've got to be flexible and ready to maneuver in several different directions according to what is facing us, what obstacle we come up against, what difficulty we need to surpass. So that's a key thing that I think a lot of people don't take into consideration. And being in Florida, where we get these big hurricanes, I've come to realize that. Yeah, there are certain things that come with hurricanes, but there's a lot of unexpected stuff that come with hurricanes too. Like you're going to have some trees down in the road, you're going to have trees down power lines, but you don't expect to have all these, utility vehicles blocking traffic to clear out that stuff. So traffic is actually worse than you would think. You think you just drive around the tree, find a way around the tree, but then you try to go around the tree and that road's blocked by utility workers. So you got, that's a simple thing, but it illustrates my point that some of these things are unexpected, that we don't foresee, that are natural causes of a calamity. And a lot of people prep, you save your food and stuff, but another thing to think about is barter goods. And one of the best barter goods, if it goes to the point where survival is the issue, then even gold and silver are going to be pretty much worthless. Nobody's going to be worried about looking good. Nobody's going to be concerned with currency of any kind. It's going to be survival and real things. So one of the most valuable trade goods would be bottles of whiskey. It's strong alcohol with more than one use. Alcohol is a beverage, and it's also good for medicinal. It kills bacteria and stuff. So you can pour it on a wound, stuff like that. So bottles of whiskey would probably be worth their weight in gold today. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Probably tobacco of different kinds of tobacco would be valuable. So if you're putting a couple of bottles of whiskey in the pantry and a couple tins of tobacco or something in there, wouldn't be a bad idea, just in case we do have an economic meltdown at one point. So keep your options open for that kind of stuff is my advice, and expect the unexpected. I'll leave you there. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can hop over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll leave that link down in the description. We also have some really cool Gen X gear and Gen X branded gear over at Redbubble. T-shirts, stickers, hats, coffee mugs, stuff like that. And I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot. Thank you very much for those of you who do that. I really appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can find the email address over on the channel page. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.